Welcome to my channel, Living Your Best Life, and I'm Cindy Smaha. And today's video, which I'm so excited about, is my affordable favorites for makeup. And so I'll put all the links to all the products that I use today down in the description box. And first, before we get into the video, I just want to say my thoughts and prayers are out to the people in Florida who have been affected by Hurricane Ian, and especially those in Fort Myers. My husband and I were on vacation in Fort Myers just this past June, and we just love Fort Myers. We've been there several times, and so my heart is so heavy for those people and the devastation. I mean, the restaurants that we went to are gone. It's just, I think even the place that we stayed at on Estero Boulevard is gone. So my heart is just so heavy for that. So I will try to find a link to, I think, American Red Cross. So if you're interested in sending money or products or whatever, I will put that link in the description box as well. So also, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and click that little bell right next to it so you'll be notified of all my future uploads. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. Let me know about what you'd like to see in future videos. And thank you for the wonderful comments from last week from the BoxyCharm unboxing and the giveaway. And the giveaway is still open until October 17th at 3:59. I've already primed my lid and set it with a white eyeshadow. What I'm going to do now is also prime my face, and I'm going to use the new e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Primer Filter. Now, this is supposed to be a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. So I've never used that. If you have used that and you've also used the e.l.f. Halo Glow, let us know in the comments what you thought. But every influencer that I've seen that did the product side by side, that they just like the e.l.f. better. So where I'm going to put this is right here on my cheeks. Put a little more there. And in my forehead on the sides. And I'll tell you why. There's a method to my madness, believe it or not. Okay. And I like this because it does give me a little bit more coverage. And so I'm just going to work that around. And I like it because it gives me a little bit of glow there. Oops, don't want to get in the center. And I really, really, really like that. Okay. That's good. Now what I'm going to use for the center, I found it, is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I use it in my T-zone where I have a lot of pores in that, so to blur that out, and it really does a great job. Now, to let you know, less is best. So don't use a ton of this stuff because it is, it's like a cream product. So a little bit goes a long way with it, and you don't want your foundation to roll with it. I do my eyes first before I do my foundation because sometimes the shimmer shades fall out and I get a lot of it under there. So, because sometimes I'm messy. So what I'm going to use today is the ColorPop By the Rose palette. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful palette. As you can see, it's just gorgeous. And it will match my shirt today. But you can see, my husband got me this shirt. He's like, I saw it, and it had hearts all over it, and made me think of you because I just love you, and he's just so sweet. And I'm like, okay, I'll wear this shirt today. So he's just so sweet. Let's get into doing the eyeshadow. So the first eyeshadow I'm going to use is this one right here. It is called, put my glasses on. It is called Sunday Cerie, S-E-I-R-E-E, Cerie. So we're going to use that one. And I'm going to work that into my crease. Now I'm going to show you a hack, which is super easy and super nice. If you want to do like a cut crease, this is so easy. And it also helps. Now I have hooded eyes, and so I want to make sure that my crease here is either right above the crease or right in it. So you put the eyelash curler right in the crease, like that. And now you start working that color back and forth, back and forth. Same thing with color. Make sure that it's less is more. Just tap it in. These ColorPop eyeshadows are extremely pigmented, as you can see. And so I work it in the crease, back and forth. And then without putting more on my brush, I work it up a little bit higher. Okay, a little bit higher to make it softer. And blend it out so it's still dark in the crease. Now look at that, pretty nice. And you can see I've got a little bit higher than the crease that's there. So again, to make an open look. And I used a big fluffy brush, if you can see that. There you go, big fluffy brush. Let's do the other eye. The other eye is done, and so now I'm going to get in. Now that I see where I put that and stopped it, now I have a little bit more of a gauge, a pattern on how I'm going to do it. Now I'm going to go into the next color, I can't see, which is this one right here, a dark, little bit darker one, and I'm going to start working that right into the crease on a little bit smaller brush. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring it down here, and I'm going to make like a little bit of a triangle right here to bring my eyes out. So we're going to do a little triangle there. And now the other side. I'm going to use the first brush that I had without putting anything on it, and I'm going to just blend those two together, especially on the outside. There we go. Bring it up into the crease, just making sure that they're just well blended together. There's no harsh lines. Wonderful. Now I also want to deepen up that outside just a little bit. And so I'm going to take a even smaller brush. See how flat that is? Okay, and smaller. And I'm going to go into this darker shade. It's almost like a plum shade, but I'm going to use a little of this and a little of this because I don't want it that super dark. And don't be afraid to mix colors. You know, this is like an artist's palette. Go ahead and mix colors a little bit. I think I got a little too much on there. And we're going to do it just tapping on there, just seeing how dark that is. And that's not bad at all. I'm only going to work it on the outside because I just want to deepen that up again to bring my eyes out. There we go. Ooh, I'm liking that. That looks super nice. I'm going to put a little bit more on just to deepen it up. There we go. That's super nice. Let's see. Looks good. Do the other side. Now for under the eye, I'm going to put that really dark shade under without mixing it. I'm going to put it really close to the lash line. As close as I can get it. Maybe that's not close enough. There we go. To about there, 3/4 of the way. Bring it up just a little bit. Do it on the other side. I'm just going to smoke it out a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to clean my brush off just a little bit, and I'm going to go into that other shade right here, and I'm going to soften it up just a little bit so it's not quite so stark there. So we're just going to soften it up, put a little bit more on. There we go. That's a little nice and smoky, yeah. And so now, let's see. I want to put this, I think this shimmer shade right in the center. I'm going to try it with my finger first because usually shimmer shades go on better with your finger instead of a brush. So let's give that a try. Ooh boy, that is so pretty. So lovely. Look at that. Very nice. Ooh, pretty, pretty. Got to make sure I got it in those little wrinkles there. There we go. Ooh, pretty. Let's do the other eye. Just, you may hear my dog barking. So she is a beagle, and she loves to howl. She's so cute. All right, so let's see what we got. Ooh. And I'm also going to put, this is a nice white. Now that's what I use to set my lids. And so I'm going to put that right under the brow bone. I usually don't like shimmer right under the brow bone, just because I just like a little softer up in there. Just my preference. So I am liking how this turned out. I'm going to use a little bit of my setting spray, which is e.l.f. I'm going to put that on a Q-tip. And I like these Q-tips that are pointy like this, because then they can get right under there. Looks good. Okay, so the eyeshadow is done. So what I do next is I curl the lashes. Now I curl the lashes before I put the eyeliner on, because what I've found is that this gets really dirty when I do that, if I put eyeliner on and then I curl my lashes. And I've also found that it smudges it, and so I don't really get a nice effect. Now if you have another trick that curling lashes and eyeliner and all that, please let me know. I am not an expert. I just am showing you what I do and what I have learned over the 40 years that I've been doing this. So let me go ahead and curl my lashes. Okay, so the eyelashes are curled. Now I also have in parts I have sparse lashes, so there's like bald spots, so For eyeliner today, I am going to use the CoverGirl Perfect Point Plus. I really like this from CoverGirl. The end is, you can just pop it out a little bit, and I like these because they're very, very blendable and they don't set right away. So what I do is I tight line first up by my eyelashes, and I make sure, now do you notice that it's really thin here? Because what we're going to do is we're going to do a slight wing on the outside, but make it thicker. So I'm just packing that on into the eyelash line here, tight lining, sort of filling in those bald spots. Was hiding on me. So if you can see, it's an angled brush. It's very stiff. And what I do then is that's when I go in and I blend it. I blend it up, except for here, I sort of just pat it in because I want to keep that dark color there. Okay, so now whatever's on the brush, put it in there, I'll go on the top lid and begin to build that up here on the outside. And you want it, again, not to be harsh, not a big dark brown color up there, but soft. The look today is going to be a pretty soft look. Okay, so you see how I've sort of built it up on the outside, again with whatever's on the brush, and blending it up from the tight line if I need a little bit more product. And now on the end, if you have downturned eyes, and I learned this from Nita Ubi, she is wonderful, and I've talked about her on my channel. She is from Dubai, India, and she is a makeup artist. So I watch her channel all the time. So if you have downturned eyes, stop not at the corner of your eye, but a little bit closer. Now my eyes aren't too bad, so I do sometimes, and I think I did here, go right on. But if you have downturned eyes, stop like less than 1/16 of an inch, but stop just a little bit, and that's where you're going to start putting the wing. Okay, now let's do the other eye. Okay, eyeliner is done. Okay, now we're going to get into mascara. And what I have been loving here lately is the Milani Anti-Gravity, if you can see it. Anti-Gravity. So I'm going to wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggling helps make the lashes separate out and gets the product on the inside instead of just on the front. So we're wiggling. See how that's adding volume but length as well. Mascara's done. Now we're going to do the face. Foundation we're going to use today is the Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation with Sunscreen. I really love this. It's from L'Oreal, and it is age perfect. I have dry skin and of course with wrinkles, and this is just a fantastic foundation. And it's affordable, so which is nice. Walmart is the cheapest place that you can find this product. So what I like to do is put it on with a brush first, because putting on foundation with a brush, you'll get more product on your face. And then when I'm done putting that on, then I'll go back with a sponge. So I just put it on the end. And what you want to do is section your face off in quadrants and do that without moving it to other spaces. Just make sure that is well blended and in. So here we go. Looks really nice. Okay, so what I want to do here is I'm just going to take my fingers, and you know what, your fingers are half the time your best tool. So I'm going to just take my middle finger here and I'm just going to tap in that color corrector. I like letting it sit because, all right, so for concealer I'm going to use the e.l.f. Camo concealer. This is the hydrating one, because I need hydration. I'm hoping this isn't going to be too light. This might be too light for me, but we're going to make it work. Yeah, it's pretty light. That's okay. We'll make it work. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, there's my doggy. What I'm going to do here is just press it in like that, and we're going to let it sit. Okay, press it in. Not use a ton of it. Again, less is best. Even though I have a lot to conceal, less is best. Now, I'm also going to use that concealer to do a little sculpting. And so what I mean is that right here, I'm going to just put a little bit on my chin, right there in my Cupid's bow, right there on my nose, and bring it up to the center, right down the center, and then up just a little bit. Okay. I'm also going to bring it right here, right there. Okay, now I'm going to take the same beauty blender that I use. I shouldn't call it a beauty blender, a sponge. And I don't know the name of the sponge that I'm using because I got it in BoxyCharm and I can't remember. Okay, and I'm just going to just blend these out so it's not harsh, but you can see the highlighter. It's going to highlight it. Okay. And it's also going to help with the under eye corrector, sort of help blend it into the face. Okay. So I'm going to leave that on, and this is going to surprise you because I've seen this and I've used it, is that now I'm going to put some of the e.l.f. This is the Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist, and this is so nice. Now I'm going to put a little bit of this on, and I know it's going to surprise you, but here we go. Okay. Whew. So that's on. We're going to wave it so it gets in there, drying it. Okay. Now it's dry, and we're going to now work it into that concealer. What happens with the setting spray, and when you do it in layers, you know, because we haven't set it with powder yet, it's going to help that foundation to adhere and stay. So it just helps it. And it's also going to help that powder to also stay. So I am going to surprise you with something. I do not typically set my under eyes with powder. I leave them as is because what I have found in my old age is that setting it with powder will actually make it crease more. To set the rest of my face, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder, and this is a loose powder, so it's got a nice little thing here. I love that. That way I can turn it and not get so much product on it. And so what I use is, if I can find the brush, this one, and this is a Real Techniques. I've got a lot of Real Techniques brush. The other brushes, I think they're like from the Dollar Tree and other places. Dollar Tree is wonderful. They have great brushes there. So $1, now it's $1.25, so it's not dollar anymore. So it's like $1.25. So I'm going to put it in, and I've got a lot of on it, so I'm going to tap that off because, again, I don't want a lot on here because I want to be able to see some of the glow. So now I'm going to tap it in. I need a little bit more powder. Looks good. All right, that looks lovely. And so what I do then is, where I know that it has a tendency to build up, I push it in those areas. And this is really nice. The foundation is very light, and so it gives you like a light sheer to medium or almost medium coverage. And so that's why I put the color corrector on my little blemishes and on my bruise, and it did a really good job of covering it. I think it did. And so did the e.l.f. Halo, or excuse me, the e.l.f. Camo concealer under the eye. So now we're going to get into the bronzer, and I'm going to be using the Physicians Formula Butter Dream Team. Now this is a little bit more expensive, but what I like about it, so we get these beautiful 6 shades, bronzers, blush, this is more setting powders, and then we've got highlighter. I'm going to use a different highlighter for this, but I am going to use the blush out of the palette. So now I'm going to get into and use my, I like this one because this I can use to sculpt out the cheeks, and this one I can use for my nose. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to use this one first, the matte, to begin to sculpt my cheeks out. And again, less is more. This stuff is pretty. Only get a little bit on your brush, and then you can always build it up. And I like to tap it in. There we go. Just a little bit. We don't want a lot in there. And then I do just a little bit up here. Give me a little sculpting here. We don't do a whole lot. Ooh, that looks so nice. Yes, it does. A little more. Now I like to get into the little bit more of the shimmery. And I only put that one right here because I like a little glow. Mama likes to glow. Okay, here we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Like it. Okay, I'm going to get into that matte shade using the smaller end and make sure I don't have a lot of product. And I'm going to scope out my nose a little bit. Now you're going to see it come out. I've got a little bit of a bump there. I broke my nose in powder puff football. Did a powder puff football game, and a girl, I was playing tackle, and a girl I was tackling, she was smaller than me. I don't know why she was on the front line, but she hauled off and punched me right in the nose. I'm like, oh. So I guess I was tackling her too hard, so that's okay. I tried to choke her, and then they pulled me off of her, so it's okay. But so I've got a little bit of a hump there, so I like to just make that little, now you can see it. So I'm going to bring this down just a little bit, right? There we go. I've sculpted my nose out just a little bit. Okay, now we're going to get into that beautiful blush. All right, so I'm going to get my blush brush and get into that. These are very pigmented. You want to go right above that bronzer. And as you can see, the bronzer I put actually right on that cheekbone and a little bit inside, and I pushed it up. So now you can see that it's more up. Okay, so alrighty, there's some pink. Look at that. Ooh, isn't that pretty? I like it because it's a little more subtle, and it also matches the eyeshadow. Might have put a little bit too much blush on. So I'm going to take a little bit of this, just sort of blend it in out a little bit. The lights make it look a little bit more than what it is. Ooh, but I like me some blush. Now the next product we're going to use is Wet and Wild Hello, Halo. Have you noticed there's a theme here? Halo, H-A-L-O. Halo. Okay, Halo. All right, so let's get into that. It's a beautiful shade. You know, Wet n Wild is a fabulous product, and it's a fabulous line, and it has they just knock it out of the ballpark with their highlighter. So I'm going to get my little highlighter brush, and we're going to do some highlighting. I take it right up here, just right around the eyes. I don't put it here because that will emphasize my texture and my pores. So I put it right up here, just a little bit. I put it right above the Cupid's bow and right on the chin and down the nose a little bit. There we go. Are we highlighted enough? Ooh, looks good. I put that in a little bit more. Lovely. We're getting close to the end. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is do a little bit under the eye. What I like to use is the Maybelline Sky High. Now, I love this one because it has a very skinny wand like that, and it's great for doing the lower lashes. And so wiggle, wiggle. Let's see if there we go. All right, that looks very good. We're doing good. All right, so now we're going to do lips. Okay, so I'm going to use two different shades and ombre. So I'm going to use two different shades, these two shades. One is, I know, more blonde, and the other one is more it is more mauve and more blonde. Okay, so to line my lips, I am going to use the same eyeliner that we used on our eyes to line my lips. This will all come together. Trust the process. So here we go, and I'm going to actually, and I can't talk and do this at the same time, I'm going to actually do a little overline. So on my lower lip, I'm going to actually just go right underneath that line. Do it like that. And then what I like to do, sorry, you didn't see that. Okay. Right under there. And so what I like to do, because of the highlighter in that, I can see my upper line a little bit more. And as you can see, I'm sort of doing it over the top line as well. Okay, so now I'm going to actually take the other end and I'm going to smudge it out. Sorry. Okay, so that's smudged out. Now I'm going to take the mauve shade and I'm going to put it on the outside. So now I'm going to take the lighter shade, which is the more blonde. I'm going to put it on the inside. Try not to get it on my teeth. So that's going to go on the inside. And what that does is it gives more depth into your lips and definition. So, it looks so nice. And the last thing, I want to put a lip topper on it. And I love these Maybelline Lifter Gloss. And this one is in Moon. I love this one. It is just so creamy, peachy, but it goes over everything. And it really emphasizes the lips more. I love a glossy, pretty lip. Oh, isn't that pretty? Okay, so the face is done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera, put some lashes on, fix this hair, and I'll be back with the finished look. So stay tuned. Okay, here is the finished look. And I think it turned out really well. I'm really happy with the eyeshadow. So happy. The lips look great. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it for you. So again, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And so stay tuned for next week. And I'll see you next week, Monday at 4 o'clock. Have a great week. Bye-bye.